everyone. Hello and welcome. Thank you so much for joining. And good morning, good afternoon, good evening, depending on where you are in the world. My name is Tracy Toothaker. I am the Director of Recruiting here at Worldwide Health Staff. And I'm joined by my partner, Shaylee. Shaylee, if you want to give a little introduction.
Yeah, hi everybody. My name is Shaylee. I'm the Associate Director of Recruiting and excited to be here.
Amazing. All right, so thank you everybody for tuning in. We're going to be talking about the application and just overall recruitment process when you apply to Worldwide Health Staff and pursue your journey to the US. So we'll go through a few slides here, and we would love to hear where you're joining us from. So please drop your location in the chat. And then, of course, if you have any questions throughout our presentation, feel free to ask them in the chat, and we'll address those towards the end of our slides here. So perfect. We'll go ahead and continue on. There's us, obviously. Okay, so let's go through just from step one. When you are interested in applying directly with Worldwide Health Staff Solutions, and obviously depending on what your path looks like, or what your journey looks like, ultimately coming to the United States, the very first step is to sign up and apply with us. And the way that you will do that is through this link here, which is a link to our worldwide guide, which is our candidate portal, and it'll allow you to create an account with us, and then as a result, answer some questions through a formal application. And you can do that either through the link or through the app. So the Worldwide Guide is also an app that you can find in the App Store or Google Play Store. And then, of course, if you happen to get in touch with us through a colleague or a friend, or you don't have access to either of those, you're also able to just submit your resume directly to us via the email alias recruiting@healthstaff.org. And then, of course, we will route you accordingly. And so those are kind of the three main first steps to getting started, ultimately through the Worldwide Guide app. Okay. Once you do apply, whether that's sending your email or sending your resume via email or through the Worldwide Guide app, and you answer some of the questions that tell us a little bit more about you and your background and what you're looking for, you will then be put in touch with a recruiter. And so Shaylee and I both have wonderful colleagues that are recruiting partners that are on standby at any given time to connect with new applicants, and they will be your dedicated recruiter through the entire process up until you accept an offer with us. And so once you sign up and you're put in touch with your recruiter, they'll reach out and understand your qualifications. They'll take a look at your resume, look at your unit and specialty, whatever kind of clinical focus that you might have, and just kind of discuss the various requirements with you, depending on what type of visa you might be interested in pursuing and what makes the most sense. So we'll talk through those things with you, discuss your education, and then the particulars as it relates to the visa. But then also too, they will discuss your most recent experience and how that might align with the opportunities that we have available currently. And so we work with various different hospitals and clients across the country. And so your recruiter will spend some time understanding where within the country you ideally would like to be, and what opportunities align best with your skills, your goals, your interests. And then once they have an understanding of what that looks like for you, and you feel like you've gotten a great understanding of some of the opportunities available, your recruiter will then present different interviewing options to you. And the good news is this is something that they'll do in tandem with your ability to view in the Worldwide Guide. So when you do apply, you'll be able to see all of the available jobs. So that way, when you're connected with your recruiter and talking through the different opportunities, you'll also be able to go in and see if there's others that maybe pique your interest or you have questions about that didn't come up in conversation with your recruiter initially, but might be something that could warrant another discussion. Okay. So some of the worldwide benefits that are offered. Now, a disclaimer here that benefits also vary by employer. So a reminder that the opportunities that we have available are direct hire opportunities, so that when you do come to the United States and begin working, you will be a full-time employee of that hospital. And so they have benefits that they offer to all of their full-time employees that your recruiter will also provide you with when you begin scheduling an interview. But some of the benefits that Worldwide will provide to you as part of our partnership is the EB3 visa sponsorship. And so that is a green card sponsorship that you will immigrate to the United States on. Again, it's direct hire opportunities. You will be able to bring your immediate family, and we can talk through that process with you once you accept an offer. There are no processing fees, and you'll have a dedicated case manager and support team through the entire process after you accept an offer through the various immigration stages. We also will help prepare you for the English exam. So we have a team of coaches that will work alongside you as you prepare and provide coaching sessions and prep work as you work through the English exam. And then also reimbursement of the healthcare worker certificate. You may know this as the visa screen, and also reimbursement of your medical exam. And then additionally, there will be free airfare to the United States for you as the nurse, and then also at least 30 days of temporary housing upon arrival. So again, some of these benefits are supplemented in different ways depending on employer, but these are just kind of a snapshot of what Worldwide is able to provide to you outside of the specifics of the employer benefits. Okay. All right, so step 3. As we talked about meeting with your recruiter and talking about various opportunities, the next big step is actually scheduling an interview for said opportunity. And so much like I mentioned, when you can view jobs in the Worldwide Guide in the app, you can request an interview based off of those jobs as well. And so your recruiter can work with you on figuring out, which job makes the most sense to schedule for. And so all through the app, you'll be able to select a date and time that works best with your schedule. And then from there, you'll receive confirmation of the interview and some preparation resources, which one other call out here is that your recruiter will also schedule a specific prep call for you. And so you'll go through a mock interview with your recruiter in preparation for your interview with the actual decision maker from the hospital. And so all of these items, with the exception of obviously scheduling the mock interview, will be viewable and accessible through the Worldwide Guide. And so once you schedule your interview, you'll be able to see all of the interview details directly in the portal, which is the Worldwide Guide in the app. Okay, I'm going to pass it to Shaylee to talk through some of the additional steps.
Yeah, thanks, Tracy. Tracy talked about this a little bit, but we really encourage you to prepare for your interview. And as she said, your recruiter is going to be there to help. And so they'll reach out to you and schedule time to, again, have that mock interview, answer any questions. But a few things that we recommend that you do on your own is review the hospital and physician details in the portal or in the guide. And as she said, you can see that when you're logged into the app. Practice answering common interview questions. Your recruiter can also provide those for you. Prepare thoughtful questions for the interview. And we always say it looks really good at the end of the interview when you've come prepared and you're able to talk about the hospital and the location and ask questions to the interviewer. And then watch our mock interview webinar for tips and guidance. You can go to our YouTube. We have great playlists for mock interviews, interview tips, and then again, this webinar. All right, so then that takes us to interview day. 24 hours before your interview, you'll receive a Zoom link. It's going to go ahead and appear in your job tracker in the portal or in the guide. So when you log into your app, you'll be able to see the job you applied for, your interview date, and that's where that Zoom link is going to populate. During the interview, you're going to have an opportunity to meet directly with a hospital interviewer. You'll learn more about their facility, their role. They'll ask you a few questions. And then again, you'll have the opportunity to ask them questions about the workplace and the location. I would also say here, with your recruiter, they'll give you examples of good questions to ask. But we always advise not to ask about immigration or wage during your interview. Those are things that your recruiter is happy to help you with. But instead, we always encourage you to focus on questions about the facility and the role itself. And then a few tips for success. Dress professionally. It's always great to join the meeting 5 to 10 minutes early. Make sure that camera's working, your mic and connection are strong. And then again, you can always view our webinar on how to succeed for a U.S. employer interview. And those are also on our YouTube. All right, so then what happens after the interview, right? The hospital is going to review all the candidates that they interviewed, and they are going to determine your salary and contract details. We are direct hire, so that is going to be determined by the employer. That can sometimes take a few days to a few weeks, depending on the employer, and you know, they're also very busy, and so we request that they get that to us as soon as possible. We do prefer same day, but that's not always possible. And so it can take several days to a few weeks to hear back on their decision and receive that offer. However, your recruiter will always be in contact with you. So any updates, any next steps that we receive, they will continue to keep you updated throughout that process while we're waiting for the decision. Once you get the decision, if you are selected, you're going to receive that job offer for you to review. Your recruiter is happy to explain any of the contract, answer your questions. They also will reach out and invite you to schedule time with them to review the job offer. So if you just want someone to be able to talk to and you know, ask questions, they are happy to schedule time with you. And then once you sign the offer, your immigration process will begin. If you are not selected, that's all right. Your recruiter is going to go ahead and keep finding you additional interview opportunities. Okay, so then if you accept the offer, you're going to get introduced to a case manager. That case manager will help you start your immigration process. They'll reach out and give you a list of documents that we need to start with. So they'll be in contact right away so that we can begin very quickly for you. You can track all of that progress in your candidate portal or in the guide and app. And again, that will show you everything, your job, and your progress on the immigration. It is important to note as well, during this time, continue working as a registered nurse. And that is a requirement from all of the clients that we work with. So we just like to send a reminder, once you accept a job offer, it is important to remain working. And that is it that we have. So we'd love to check out some questions in the chat and help answer any questions that you guys might have.
Awesome. Thanks, Shaylee. And yeah, just taking a look at the chat here, I see, amazing. We've got some folks joining in from Nairobi, Kenya, Edmonton, Alberta. Welcome. Hang on, the chat's moving a little slow here. Ghana, Singapore, Saudi Arabia, Nigeria, St. Lucia, amazing, Cape Town, Kenya again, awesome. We've got folks from all over. How exciting. Looks like we've got some questions too, which is great. Okay, hiring for any caregiver opportunities. So the majority of our opportunities are in bedside nursing roles that require your NCLEX, and also at least 2 years of experience in the unit in which you're working in. We are happy to talk through, though, what that looks like and the various channels to get to that point. And so would love to hear from you if you want to learn more about some of the opportunities that we have, regardless of what stage you're in yet. And so if you are interested, please feel free to apply directly. I think we've dropped our application link in the chat. And the best way to do that is through our worldwide guide, and you can apply through that link. Let's see. I want to make sure I'm not missing any. A question about NCLEX preparation. So we have plenty of resources, Tinu, to share with you in regards to what those steps look like, and just some good best practices when preparing for the NCLEX. We don't necessarily have any NCLEX sponsorship opportunities where we may have a class or be able to help you, aside from just sharing some accessible resources. But we are happy to do so if you're interested in learning more about that. And then, okay, a question about medical technologists. And yes, we do hire medical technologists. We have gotten a little bit unique in how we can assist and hire for medical technologists. The typical path has been on an H-1B visa, and given the fact that there was a proclamation recently made for an increase of cost for filing an H-1B petition, that has adjusted how we are able to assist those in that capacity. But happy to talk through that with you and see if you may qualify for the opportunities that we do have available.
I see a question about benefits and if facilities or if they don't offer benefits. Each facility is different, but they all have benefits. So if you want to learn more about a facility you're interested in, you can see their benefits on the Worldwide app, or you can always reach out to a recruiter, and we're happy to share those benefits with you as well.
Amazing. Looks like we've got folks tuning in, several from the Philippines and Nepal. Welcome. The UK, amazing. A question about the travel ban. And so I know that that's obviously a topic that we are monitoring very closely. We've also had some other webinars that we've hosted with our Director of Immigration Services to discuss what that might look like and some of the impact. We have several resources on our website as well of where that stands. I know that we are anticipating reviewing an update this summer. So I know we are keeping a very close eye, and for some of the categories, we anticipate an update every 180 days or so is when they've released that they'll provide more details or information. And so as is, it stands from the original announcement in January of this year, but monitoring very closely, hoping for some kind of update, in the next 60 days or so.
I see another question here about education requirements. That's a great question. Some of our employers do require a BSN, and others can accept a diploma or associate's degree. And so we'd love to talk with you and look at the education that you might have, and we can determine what employers you qualify for.
I see a question about Dino asking about dialysis nurses. And while we, at this very moment, only have a few dialysis opportunities, just a couple, we are anticipating hiring dialysis nurses again very soon. We are in talks with an employer about that and hoping to have more opportunities soon. So thank you so much for your patience, and hopefully we'll have an update for you soon. And sorry, I lost my place in the chat and my scroll is moving very slow. I'm so sorry.
I see another one right here about I'm in the process of writing my NCLEX. What you're wondering when to apply. You are always welcome to apply at any time. We'd love to hear from you. And then as you're working through your NCLEX, you can keep us updated and we can wait for that NCLEX for you to pass the NCLEX, and then we can begin looking at interviews, as most of our clients do require the NCLEX right now. But you can always apply at any time and keep us updated throughout that process. We'd love to cheer you along.
And it looks like also two questions about opportunities in Canada. And I think currently we don't have any opportunities in Canada, but we do obviously assist with anyone that might be a Canadian citizen looking to come to the US. We are absolutely happy to discuss those opportunities with you. Some questions about I-140s, it looks like too. And so when one of the steps after you accept an offer is we file your petition to USCIS, which is in I-140. And a question here, just if you do receive a request for evidence, obviously those are very case-by-case unique situations. However, we absolutely respond accordingly and do our very best to provide the amount of detail required to USCIS to overcome that RFE with substantial information.
It's a great question of how do I know who my recruiter or point of contact is? If you have applied, again, you can go to our worldwide app or our guide. You can do that online or in the app version, and you can click a button that says contact my advisor. If you write a message there, it will automatically go to who your recruiter or point of contact is. If you've not applied, you can go ahead and apply. I think the link has been dropped in the chat, or you can send us an email at recruiting@healthstaff.org, and we can make sure a recruiter reaches out to you right away.
A question if we're hiring in North Carolina, and we have several different employers in North Carolina that we work with. We are actively hiring in North Carolina. Some of those opportunities are a little unique, and I think the ones that we have available right this very moment are for any candidates that may have a previous priority date, and so. Just a call out there, if you do apply and see any of those opportunities, some of them have some nuances and specifications to hiring requirements. So definitely the opportunity is available, it is there, but we will talk to you about those nuances if you apply directly. Making sure I didn't miss anything here. These are some good questions. Maybe one other thing too, because I see a question just about approvals of your I-140, and so the current processing time from when your petition is filed to approved is 22.5 months. And that's largely due to retrogression and the processing times at the USCIS level. And so, obviously it's case by case. I see the question specifically about someone's priority date, but just wanted to set that expectation as well, that is currently the processing time of petition submission to approval.
See another great question that just came in about hospital types or bed capacities that qualify a nurse. And we have opportunities for all different clients and facilities. And so we don't have a hospital type or a bed capacity requirement. we'd love to talk through your resume and see what facility might fit best according to the facility or bed capacity that you're already working in.
Yeah, good questions. And Jam, I see your note here. Thank you so much. We will absolutely reach out to you. A question about hiring in the Middle East. And yes, we do. We have opportunities in the GCC and have several, a couple of different employers there that are actually actively hiring, and happy to talk to you about that process also, if you want to apply directly. And then a question about H-1B opportunities. And so we absolutely do, we provide or work with employers that sponsor for H-1B visa opportunities. And, at the moment, there are not any current opportunities in that capacity, just given the recent legislation of the newly imposed fee for filing an H-1B petition. So, even though that is a path that we absolutely are able to assist with, it looks a little bit differently right now, and is currently being monitored and reviewed. And we are hoping that we might receive some news or updates that could allow us to begin working on those opportunities in the future. And so if you'd like to learn more, I know our host just dropped our H-1B blog for you to learn a little bit more about that and some of the executive order updates that we're tracking very closely for healthcare professionals.
I see another question asking about starting salary. As we are direct hire, the employer will look at the cost of living, your experience, your education, and calculate a wage based on those three things. And so we don't usually have a starting salary. If you're interested in a specific position, your recruiter can help you determine what that prevailing wage or an average wage in that area looks like. But your wage is based off of, again, your work experience, education, and the cost of living.
Also, question just about years of experience. So the opportunities that in the hospitals that we work with, we do require at least 2 years of bedside nursing experience along with your NCLEX. So in Washington, I see your question about new graduates, and although you wouldn't necessarily qualify to interview right this moment, we are happy to work alongside you as you gain some more experience and track your progress and discuss future opportunities with you.
So a question about, do you hire and sponsor CNAs? Again, we'd love for you to apply. We can talk through your resume. Right now, all of our clients do require you to have your NCLEX. But if you're working towards your NCLEX and working in long-term care, we do have long-term care opportunities. And if you don't quite have that NCLEX yet, that's okay. Still apply, and we'd love to, talk to you throughout that process and help you along your way as you take the NCLEX.
saw a question about openings in Georgia, and we do. We actually we are partnering with a couple of hospitals in Georgia to hire for. So if you're interested in those opportunities, feel free to apply directly. Let's see. See, some questions. Let's see about, I think, timing. Fee bill, and just it depends, but I think on average, once your petition is approved, and you are, you've passed all of your requirements, you have about 6 months to complete your healthcare worker certificate, and then once you're able to complete all of those items, then and that's processed, then the NVC will reach out about your fee bill. So it's give or take around that time frame, but depends on kind of where you are in the process. A question about after recruitment, if you're an employee of the hospital, and you are. So yes, these are all the opportunities that we have are direct hire opportunities. Once you accept an offer and work through the various phases of immigration and eventually arrive to the United States and you begin work, you will be a full-time employee of the hospital. Worldwide facilitates your your immigration, and we operate as a partner both to you and the employer to assist with the immigration services to get you here and begin work. Okay, I think we've covered the majority. Let me know if I missed anyone. And of course, if you have additional questions, please do not hesitate to reach out and either apply directly, or you can reach out to recruiting@healthstaff.org. We will be more than happy to answer any of your questions. Also, please connect with us. So on the screen here, you can see all of our various social links on Facebook, YouTube, Instagram, and then of course directly to our website at the bottom there. And so like and follow us on those channels. We would love to hear from you. And then also too, we'll drop the recruiting email so that you can get in touch with us directly if need be. And then also wanted to make everyone aware of our Refer a Nurse program. And so if you are already working with us and but you have a colleague or you're not working with us and would like to, but also have a colleague or friend that would be interested in joining your journey and working alongside us, you can earn $250 for every nurse that you refer. So we will include that link as well. Okay. All right, everyone. Thank you so much. We really appreciate your time today. Please feel free to reach out to us if you have more questions, and have a great rest of your day.